Willkommen auf der Ordnung, what is it?
Alles in Ordnung.
Ordnung,
German,
Laurence Fox EXCLUSIVE. Das ist gut.
Danke, meine Host.
Das ist meine guest, the June Slater, the Queen of the North in England. We're greeting her for coming from London up into this place. This is cold with also the water. Water is running.
It's running.
We will now have conversation. Normal Ordnung, good? Yes?
Ja, alles klar.
Alles klar.
Alles klar.
Okay, let us begin the walk slow. That is not in Italian. Right, okay, what does no one else talk about on the telly that we want to talk about?
Well, I think what's happened now since the lockdowns and the nightly bulletins and all the stuff the journalists didn't ask in the nightly bulletins, it's just moved on to not asking on the scheduled TV news. They're still not doing the job. There's no journalism. Isabel Yorkshire has released some sensitive data that is real, by the way, for those people doubting it. Isabel Yorkshire stuff is real. There's no way she'd take a risk doing what she's doing. She's a Tory, she's a Brexiteer, she's a sensible journalist. She wouldn't do that, and neither would the Telegraph, so let's clear that up. What we've got to look at here is this has now been overshadowed by the story of one of our great saints of our time, St. Gary Lineker, who has now come out and called basically the whole of the country racist. The government racist, I don't know what he's actually said because I don't listen to him, but I can see by the thread that the virtue signallers can't wait to jump on his thread and tell him how marvellous he is. And not only that, for some obtuse reason, we've now got him labelled up as having a rescue dog, which is very commendable. But I mean, I think most of the country has a rescue dog or a rescue cat because we're pretty decent people in this country.
What do you think of St. Gravy of the Lineker? Do you think? I think it's like really bad that it's now shown that A, the BBC is totally partial, and B, that you're actually rewarded for being a woke virtue signaller on national TV. That's not a good message to send out to the young people, is it?
Well, I think what it is, if you're paying a licence fee, you're paying your licence fee to a set of eunuchs who can't stand up for your values. I don't know who the BBC think they're pleasing, because most of the wokerati don't have a TV licence. They watch stuff online, they rely on social media. That's not their customer, that's not their audience. Their audience is people like, you know, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my family, my friends, people who are not racist, people who want to hear what the news is genuinely, not just a version of it that suits the narrative. There's nothing wrong with this country, because let's face it, if there was something wrong with us as a people, as a country, why would people pay £7,000 to cross the channel to get here? You'd go to a better place, wouldn't you, where you feel safe and welcome.
You would have thought, but that makes common sense. That's the opposite of virtue signalling.
Yeah, well, there is that.
You've got to do virtue signalling.
There's nothing nicer than telling everybody on Facebook and Twitter how nice you are. And the ones to watch for, the be kind. Oh, that's a dangerous...
Like wars, I've noticed. Have you noticed the be kind people are always going, we need to be kind by bombing everyone?
The be kind are the worst. They're the ones that make me the most scared, because I think to myself, oh no, be kind. I'm always nice to people. No, you're not. You've just called me a you-know-what in a private message, so you're not that nice, are you? We've got to get back to normal, basic structure, and it's all in the hands of the mainstream media and the anchors on these various TV shows that don't address anything of any consequence unless it's with the government narrative. It's broken. The information system is broken. People who watch the TV for news will not swap over to, say, a blogger or a YouTube channel to get their news. They won't trust it. And that's why places like GB News are important, because it's coming in the home through the telly. They've got a job to do, and they're doing it better than any other channel, although I think there's always room for improvement. I'm not too sure, I'm not too happy that there's serving MPs as anchor spots, but you know, it could be worse, it could be Labour. So we're still in a country that is going to go to the next election through the various channels and the campaigning that will get done, and the strongest selling point a Tory government has is it'd be worse under Labour.
That's depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but why is there no gap for why won't the British people go, right, we like, what do you think of reform, for example? Do you think they'll get a vote share?
I think they'll get a vote share, whether they'll get a seat from the vote share, I don't know, because what tends to happen, again, it's in the hands of the media, because you've only got to look at the 2017 election, no, 2019, sorry, with Boris. The media told the whole country that it was neck and neck. You know, it was very dangerous. We could get a Corbyn government. It's neck and neck. I looked at my messages because I answer people and I respond to them. No way was it neck and neck. I could see that Labour were going to tank a load of support. And I tried to say that to people by saying, look, vote for the Brexit Party, get some fresh faces on those seats from a different party. Because, you know, Boris is going to march home with a huge majority and that's dangerous. So I called it right. The media is a big machine to fight and one blogger with a corner of the universe isn't going to do it. But the same thing will happen again. The next election will be just the same. People will vote for the Tories because they're afraid of Labour, because we've got Keir Starmer who wants everyone to drive a Honda Civics. And sorry. So you can't have a bloke who doesn't know his hatchbacks. You can't have him as a leader. So what will happen? It'll be the same old, but with a very, very low turnout, because most people will just not vote. And
do you think that there's so you think that there's a growing apathy politically, but there isn't really a desire to sort of shake it up? Do you think that what would your, if I said to you, right, you're a chief political strategist, what would you do?
I'd advise everybody to vote for an independent. Get someone independent. Stop backing party values. Stop taking any notice of what manifestos are, because if you're a new party, you're not going to see what happens with the public. They think, oh right, vote Reform, because Reform's got the, you know, it's got more street cred. Everybody knows Reform. But even Reform know that even if they get seats, they're not going to become a government. They're going to possibly get some seats. We need to let the public know that you're not voting for a government, so manifestos are not important. What's important is shaking up the system by getting fresh faces who cannot be whipped by a party whip into the House of Commons. And even if you only start off with 5 or 6, you can work from there. That's what I think.
I reckon that there's something to be said about that. What do you think about standing in a small set of seats with over specific issues like a freedom of speech issue or a critical race theory issue? We've got a girl who's been done by the Tavistock, not that part of the Tavistock, another woke part of the Tavistock, for refusing to acknowledge her whiteness and how evil it is. You know, what about if you've got individuals to stand in certain seats over certain area issues that were very pertinent to that area?
Well, I think that's a good way of doing it, because I don't particularly think standing 650 new MPs is the route I would take forward, because they're not going to win, they're not going to be experienced, the system's already set against them. I think you're better with a handful of decent people in an area where they can make some sense, and just start from there. You know, this is going to be a long job. You're not going to change and reform what's gone on with this country in the next election, but you can start.
Ja, das ist eine gute Idee. Das ist meine Mutter, der Social Media Mutter.
Mutti from social media.
Ordnung gut. Was ist der Wort?
Mutti.
Ja, aber was ist der Ordnung gut?
Alles in Ordnung.
Ordnung.
Alles
das
in
ist Episode 1, die Ordnung gut walking in the nature. Das ist very good.
Nature.
This is my
Nature's good.
Mutti, Ordnung gut, Sie June Slaters.
Thank you, Laurence.
Das ist sehr gut. Auf Wiedersehen.